weird sciencey facts that boggle my mind. We don't know how or why anesthesia works. Now, anesthesia is one of the most important medical discoveries of all time. It allows physicians and surgeons to perform life-saving operations that would otherwise be literally impossible. And we've been using it for close to 200 years. The vast majority of people in the world today have had some experience with medical anesthesia. And despite it being used thousands of times a day for over a century and a half, scientists don't really know how it does what it does. But they've been trying to figure it out for a long time. The first theory, developed in 1847, was lipid theory. This hypothesized that the anesthesia interacts with the fatty acids and cell membranes and doesn't allow neural connections to operate properly. But this theory lost favor and gave way to the anesthetics attaching to certain brain receptors to not allow them to function properly and knock a person out. But as the science, research, and technology has progressed, scientists have been able to isolate the receptors that anesthesia works on. But that just produced more questions. While testing the theory that made most sense, that the anesthesia blocks ion channels in the brain, they found that it does not interact directly with the ion channels the way that they thought it would and the way that made logical sense, apparently. I'm not a neuroscientist, so sorry if this gets a little rough. In fact, they discovered that there's some sort of in-between step between the anesthesia and the receptors that they don't at all understand. But they do know it involves lipids, which means we're sort of back to the original theory, in a way. Nothing quite like coming full circle and still having no fucking clue what's going on. What makes this more complicated is there's numerous types of anesthesia, all with different chemical makeups and different means of delivery via gas or intravenous injection or a pill. And yet they all effectively have the same end result, which when talking about brain chemistry is extremely improbable that they would all operate the same way to achieve the same effect. The brain has countless chemicals and receptors and connections that are all affected differently by different chemicals. That's why different drugs and different alcohols have different effects on us. Different chemicals, different results. So different anesthesias should in theory affect us different ways. And on a neurological level they might, but we don't know. And studying these different anesthesia's effects along with different brain mechanics and brain chemistry gives researchers results. It seems like it both completely confirms and completely contradicts a bunch of other research that's also been done, even in the same experiments. Schrodinger would love this research, because it seems the theories are both alive and dead, all within the same experiments. So despite doing my best, I am sure I've butchered this whole interpretation, but still, something that has touched the lives of almost every person on Earth in some form or fashion for generations, something that's used daily by some of the most educated and brilliant people in the entire world, we understand almost nothing about. And that is mind-boggling.